Operation Cold Snap is officially launched and is here. If you guys do like videos where I keep you up to date on the latest patches and seasonal updates, drop a like and comment down below what you're most excited about for this update. Some of the patch highlights is now you can reset your skill tree for a set amount of coins. I believe I heard it was 2,000 2,000 points or dollars for one skill point. So with a certain amount of money, you'll be able to reset your whole build in case if you put too much into mobility or conditioning, or maybe you put all your might into survival. They also changed that. The security breaches are now randomly spawned, so there's no set locations for them. So they got nerfed again indirectly. So maybe you want to have less points in survival because it's less needed, and you're probably going to see these security breaches a lot less. So now you have the option to with currency. You run some buried city runs, and I guarantee you have more than enough to reset all the points you will need. They also have some balancing changes for weapons like the patina. The durability burn rate reduced per shot went from 0.43 to 0.17 per shot, so it's not going to burn through its durability as fast, which it really shouldn't. It is a pink weapon, an epic. It shouldn't be getting like destroyed so quickly. Base magazine is set to 22 instead of 20, and the base reload time has been reduced from 5 to 4.5. They also buffed the Rattler, increasing its magazine size by 2. I'm not sure if that's really gonna change much. It was more the reload time, but it is what it is. They also buffed, this is crazy, they buffed the Shredder, reduced the amount of knockback applied by weapons, increased movement speed and turning responsiveness. And also increased health of the Shredder's head to prevent cases where its head could be shot off, leading to unintended behaviors. Improved Shredder navigation to reduce getting stuck in corners, narrow spaces, short obstacles. Increased the speed at which the Shredder enters combat when taking damage in close proximity of players. So I guess, playing the walls or, playing certain cover points and just running around it very easily like you're used to is definitely not going to happen as often, if not at all. I haven't tested it out just yet. I haven't run Stellamontes in a little while. Let's see. Increase the number of parts on the Shredder that can be individually destroyed. Yeah, that's going to be a crazy. But at least with these other changes to Stellamontes, I guess it all balances out, because now you can find the affiliate blueprint on Stellamontes, and also they have increased the the loot value, so you're going to be finding higher value loot even more often. So I guess buffing the Shredder was a necessary evil to have more higher value loot on that map, man. But it's crazy because like with the close quarters at all times, and most of the map is very close together, or just inside in general, players are always intense and just very on edge and very trigger happy. A lot of times they just shoot because they don't want to get shot. Sometimes they leave players alone. You'll see in this video, like I ran up behind somebody, he was completely unaware of me, but I left him alone. I just said something to him so he know I was there. But I'm not the type of player that really wants to shoot all the time. Still building up the arsenal, still haven't hit max level yet, so there's still things I want to do before I even just try to go in for just PvP only. Me, I think I'll enjoy the game a lot more with helping people get the arsenal that I will eventually have, more than just shooting players or just helping people that are getting shot at. For me, that's my enjoyment from the game. Yeah, coming back to those weapon balancing changes, I think that is great to see, because what that is showing us is our complaints and whatever we have worries or concerns about is being heard, from Embark Studios. They are listening and looking very closely to Discord chats, Reddit threads of what guns are weak, what guns need to be worked on, because that's why they buffed the patina and the Rattler. Now, like a two bullet mag extension is not gonna help the Rattler become more useful. I know it has higher damage, so like the lower clip is kind of intended, so they don't want to start you off with 30 on a Rattler 1 and you're just outgunning some of the higher tier guns. So that's why it has a shorter clip. So I think what they should do is, on top of the mag size being increased, maybe to like 15 or something. It could just increase the reload speed or something, or I don't know, because I've seen Rattler 4s, they still take a very, very long time to reload their weapon. And you got guns or pistols like, you know, the Beretta and the Venator that are so high in DPS and they reload like instantaneously. It makes the Rattler really hard to fit in anywhere. You know, I understand if it's, you know, a shitty gun when you get a free loadout. You know, your free loadouts aren't supposed to be the greatest of weapons. You know, a Kettle 1. I mean, a Pharaoh is pretty good, but it by itself just isn't like gonna really help you against a player that has like a Venator, Anvil, or is fully kitted out. You're not really gonna be at even playing fields, and that's the sacrifice you take when using your free loadouts. You have no safe pockets either, a lot less inventory. So there's things to balance out the free loadouts, which I do like. You know, people can't just have 2 weapons and a safe pocket with a free loadout. Then it would be very, very unbalanced. But for the most part, Embark is on top of everything we are complaining about. There's a lot of other smaller things that they've done. You know, they've also fixed the spawn points according to them for Stellamontes and some of these other maps. So the likelihood of you running into other players or being able to, you know, spawn camp or anything are going to happen a lot less frequently. That was one of the main frustrations of Stellamontes, especially you have night raids added, where you're probably going to go in with a lot of gear, a lot of high value gear, because there's going to be more heavier arc, there's going to be more of them, and you also got to have to worry about the PvP aspect, because everyone knows night raids are going to be 2 times the chances of getting, you know, blueprints or high value weapons. So what people do is they just, you know, go out to kill players. And I've seen people like walk away from their spawn for like maybe 5-6 seconds, check a drawer or 2, come back to where they spawned, and they would just literally watch somebody in the loading animation, literally cocking their gun back, and they can't even like, they don't even see anything yet, or they're not even having the ability to ADS and shoot. So yeah, I'm glad that they're focused on fixing that. So hopefully with those changes, we have a great balance in spawn. Cause I know it's a smaller map compared to some others, or it just feels like that because it's indoors. Not sure, but yeah. Something else I gotta test out is some people are saying there's behavioral matchmaking. So like if you're a player like me where you just don't shoot on sight and you interact with players, your lobbies are more friendlier than, you know, the average person or than the PvP players. I mean, if that's true, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna be running Stellamontes then. You know, because with that increased loot value, that could definitely be something where, you know, I could get a lot of good money. I even seen a lot of people do money runs before this update. So the fact that it got increased even further, the only real thing I would have to worry about are those heavily buffed shredders. Yeah, but as far as in the snow on the gameplays, I'm not sure what happened, but I ran Cold Snap twice on this map right here, and it just seems like it's running a night raid. I don't know if there's some type of glitch or, you know, an overload in their system where too many people are playing on snow maps. I have no idea, but I ran this for like an hour straight, and every time I clicked on the Cold Snap, you know, game mode, I just didn't get to see like any snow or anything at all. Like to me, this looks like just a regular old night raid. You know, I could tell by the amount of snitches and just the amount of arc I see in general. That's definitely there, but no snow. I don't see, like, I don't know why that happened, but hopefully I could get some gameplay of snow later on, so I'll post it like later this week, and that's probably what I'll do, because, you know, I have to go and do something. I couldn't just sit here for like another hour and play and try to get a snow map. But yeah, I don't really like this map at all either. Also, I seen some gems that got stuck at the bottom of the patch list. I just noticed these now too. Effortless roll skill now provides greater stamina cost reduction. So I think that's the one where you can get like an extra roll if you have it like all the way upgraded or like at least level 3. I'm not too far in the mobility tree because I heard a lot of bad things about it, and I saw a lot of tests on them. It just didn't seem like it was valuable to waste any points into, especially at the point in time where my build was mainly trying to get 36 points into survival to unlock that security breach. That was my main goal. now that they're spawning in randomly, and I don't even know if I want to do that anymore. I may still do it because security breaches are still really, really good for a lot of resources, and you can find some really good guns in there from what I've seen. But them actually patching and tweaking their own skills that are a little bit underused or maybe could have been better, again, is amazing because that's going to keep people playing, and people don't have to spend a bunch of coins or do an expedition to, reset. Now their skills that they've, went into for mobility, now they're going to be way more effective, so they don't feel the need to have to do an expedition or spend a ton of skill points to undo something they did. Now if they actually like that skill and like the change, they could keep their build and everyone could be happy. I'm still going to go for security breach anyways. I'm relatively close. Also now the calming stroll, where you would have to click a different button and walk, which was very weird because like what I assumed it was like you just jogging. Like that's what I thought they meant by walking, like just non-sprinting. I assumed was walking, and it turns out there's like a different like input to like walk a lot slower. So if you weren't doing that and you upgraded calming stroll by 5, you basically just wasted, or you're not even like using the perk at all. So I'm glad they changed that. So now this skill is basically going to be activated while you're ADSing or moving while ADSed. So that is going to be very good for where you run into, let's say into a tight spot and you're out of stamina, and while you're ADSing and moving, you're regaining stamina. So if, let's say, the person is chasing you, or arc that's, mainly just a person, let's say, in a PvP way, is chasing you, now while you're ADS and moving and trying to find an angle, you're gaining more stamina. And if he's not doing the same thing or doesn't have that skill, now you actually have an advantage on the player, which will make mobility way more effective as a skill tree. Is it something I really care about? I mean, not really. It all depends on playstyles, like I don't really catch myself fully out of stamina, or usually if I hear somebody, I reposition and I immediately get a tactical angle as best as I can. Only time I randomly get caught off guard is obviously if I get shot at by somebody that's maybe in a building, or it just has a viewpoint on me where I was rushing through and not paying attention too much. Because sometimes with these late raids, one of these I spawned in very late, I don't really have the opportunity to take my time. So I have to run around a lot faster, try to find a little something, and make the risk worthwhile, So I think this is a great update, but I will have more gameplay on the snow mats. I'll try to get that, see if, restarting my game is going to fix that or not, or it was just this map that was just bugging out. But hopefully we'll be able to get that sorted out, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.